Hello, we're here from simplymagazine.net and simplydownload.com to talk about one of our best audiobooks, Managing Your Home Office. And the reason this came about is we had a software product about business startup and various products like that. And a lot of people wrote us to say, do you have something specific and ideas we can follow through on as a punch list just to go down, what do you do in managing a home office? Because a lot of people don't really have a good resource. So if you go to simplydownload.com or simplymagazine.net, for $3.99 you can download this and put it in your iPod and your iPhone. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about managing your home office. Well, what are the issues in your house? One of the first issues that gets turned around with home offices, and my wife calls it the boiler room, all the money is created out of the home office unless somebody else works outside the house. This is the boiler room. It must be protected. But in most houses, even mine, I have the smallest room. Always a problem. And this is one reason when you move to a new place, and particularly when you're young, you can do something about this. You can create a special quiet zone, which is your office. And it should be someplace not in your living space, normally, if you can help it. So you're not always tripping on it. Because one of the things about it is you need a place to go to transition. I know people who actually go outside and walk around the block and come back in with the idea of a transition. Because although the commute is difficult, it provides a transition. So the first thing is it has to be a separate space. The second thing is I have a rule. If the house burns down, don't knock on the door. Don't talk to me. Don't interrupt me. At all. Ever. Now that's hard to enforce, but it's interesting that my children have learned to do that because I've always worked at home. And of course for them, a home office is easy because they've seen it. The second thing you start to learn is what do you need in the home office? And that's what's really good about this audiobook. We have a punch list of all the things you need, how to proceed with it, how to manage people. And then there's another section. If you manage people in home offices, what's the best way to manage them? How to communicate? We find the best way as a synopsis and a summary is ask people once a day to send you an email. Try not to call them too much. Try not to interrupt them. Try to let them get done what they do. The other point is when people are working out of home, the idea is they do what they do and they don't do what they don't. I think the most marvelous system I've heard about are the reservation people at JetBlue in Utah. Now they may be elsewhere now, but it's a wonderful story. The ladies in Utah have children, they have doctor's appointments, they have dentist appointments, they have to take care of things, all the things that mom has to do when she's working. They have a very simple system at JetBlue. They plug in when they work and they plug out when they don't. And there are enough people to balance it so everybody can have their own time. The most important thing, though, is there's no discussion. I've got to go to the doctor, I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. One of the great things about home office workers is they do the work and it's clear whether they do or they don't. And they don't get confused that driving to work is an accomplishment. It's not. And it shouldn't be talked about that way, but office workers tend to do that. So these are just some of the tips. So go to simplydownload.com or simplymagazine.net and download the title. You'll be impressed about how much it helps you for a relatively small amount of money.